Jerry Wilson Group here with Jerry Wilson. 3 tips for the self-employed borrower when applying for a home loan. And this can apply to both the small business owner and real estate agents as well. So first tip, Jerry, especially in this environment, there's some different underwriting conditions. Calculating income can be a little more complex for the self-employed borrower. What tip do you have in regards to that?
Well, your timing's perfect, Jan, because some self-employed business owners right now are either applying or have already received their second round of PPP money. And so one of the additional layers of underwriting in addition that has been added since COVID is, in addition to personal bank statements, you have to provide 2 months of business bank statements to see how the cash flow of the business is doing. Also, underwriting is going to notice on the credit report whether the business owners applied for a PPP loan. And so if they see it on there, they're going to ask for a up-to-date profit and loss statement and balance sheet. So they're going to want to know how that business is trending. Most businesses were impacted by COVID, but they want to see if they've come out of COVID and not as impacted as much.
Absolutely. And that makes total sense. So, first tip, updated profit and loss statement, and then making sure you have those 2 months worth of bank statements.
Correct.
Secondly, sometimes they'll want to ask for a cosigner. Any tips on that? What is recommended?
Yes, both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac allow for self-employed borrowers to have cosigners. It's generally our preference to have a W-2 cosigner that works for an employer versus having 2 self-employed borrowers, because it's a little easier for underwriting to forecast that income and to come up with the proper calculations to get that primary self-employed business owner approved.
Okay, so second tip, if you can get a cosigner and it can be a W-2, that certainly helps.
It's our preference.
And lastly, taxes. That can be a little more complex when you're self-employed. So what are some tips there that can help the self-employed borrower qualify for a mortgage?
Well, great questions, because we're in tax season right now where taxes are due April 15th. And so Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac require 2 years of both personal and business tax returns. So we're still using 18 and 19 tax returns. But some self-employed borrowers have already got their 20 tax returns done. So if the business has been greatly impacted 2020 by COVID, it is our suggestion to file an extension prior to April 15th, and that will delay taxes being due for underwriting until August 15th. And then that way we can use 18 and 19s, which would be a better year. But again, we're still going to have to provide the year-end profit and loss statement and balance sheet, because underwriting wants to use that as a compensating factor to see how the business is trending.
Great tips. So to recap, you're going to want 2 months of recent bank statements, an updated P&L, cosigner with a W-2 if possible, and then going to make sure that you file for an extension with those taxes if you're going to be doing a loan anytime soon. It is possible, if you're self-employed, to get a home loan and a mortgage. We have a lot of experience with that, and our team in particular specializes in analyzing all those taxes up front so that you don't run into any issues mid-process. Thank you so much, Jerry.
Thank you, Jen.
Well, and find us on jerrywilsongroup.com.